Alright, let's get started. With Lostbelt 3, the Synchronized Intellect Nation. Sin. Though it should be Chin. Into the Storm. More prologue. Emerging from long-distance zero sail now. Whoa, we actually nailed the positioning. I can see the supercell surrounding this lost belt 1,000 meters straight ahead. Oh! Impressive. Even if this precision is only possible when embarking from the Wandering Sea, it is quite something to behold. What's more, Miss Shion tells me that we can expect this level of precision anywhere except for the North and South Poles. Unfortunately, we may have been a little bit too precise. At this distance, our only choice is to head straight into the storm wall immediately. Mr. Gordoff, how are you? It would seem his fear of the poison has more or less overwhelmed him. He won't be of much use for the time being. How about you, Mr. Gouda? Are you ready for this next phase? Yeah, I think so. Good. Miss Shion was kind enough to make some significant improvements to your Mystic Code. It should be a good deal more useful both in keeping you alive and in aiding your performance as a master. I'll explain more once we arrive in the Lost Belt, but... yes, Ms. Kirielite, is something the matter?
Oh, no, it's nothing. I'm good to go as well. I did feel the same warmth during that last zero sail as I did in Scandinavia, but... Okay, guys, that's enough. Ready or not, we're embarking on another zero sail. We don't want to burn the border's fuel unless we really have to, so I'm gonna have to take advantage of the inertia we got by launching from the Wandering Sea. We'll be emerging inside the Lost Belt without anything to guide us, just like we did in Scandinavia. Oh? Well, what's this now? Good news, Gordy. It looks like Koyanskaya inside the Chinese Lost Belt, too.
She is. Are you sure about that, Da Vinci?
Yep. I got a pretty solid sample of her data yesterday, so there's no mistaking it. Now we can kill two birds with one stone. Not only will this greatly improve our odds of emerging from void space, we can also ask her about an antidote once we capture her. Munier, set the anchor point from hypothetical living human to Koyanskaya.
Got it, but... man, as if I didn't already have my hands full with driving this thing. Ah, damn it, just when I could have used the old man's help. So Koyanskaya is in the Chinese Lost Belt too. I wonder if she really has an antidote. Very well then. In light of this new information, I believe a new course of action is in order. We should cancel our search for Shanshui Mingmai in favor of capturing Koyanskaya. That would be a much surer way of neutralizing the poison Gordoff and Gouda have consumed. And it would be one less threat to our future endeavors. As for the Crypto and the Tree of Emptiness, our goals there would remain unchanged. We find and restrain the former, and cut down the latter. Would that be acceptable to you, Director?
Yes, of course. That sounds great. Indeed, this is no time to be trembling in fright. No more Mr. Nice Guy to Mamovich Koyanskaya. The next time we meet, I'll see that you pay for everything you've done. Foe!
Hey now, don't get ahead of yourself, Gordy. We still have to capture her first, remember? And even if we succeed at that, it won't amount to anything if we can't make her tell us where to find and how to make the antidote. Understood. I will hold back. However, I will not show her mercy. We should, at least, berate her, right after capturing her. It is best if we beat this villain so that she can never again stand up or engage in any evil schemes. China is my home, Lostbelt or not. It is air and land, or its air and land should remain the same. As such, I should have no trouble defeating this demon. Thank you, Neja. It's great to have your help.
Alright, we're only 400 meters away from the storm wall. Do it, Da Vinci!
Expanding logic formula on the Shadow Border's external armor. Removing existence verification for reality space. Future prediction. Hypothetically prove mirror world plane in 20 seconds. Relaxing space-time friction decompression for 0.4 seconds. All systems are green. Void space, see observations remain locked at previous results. Shadow Border. Untether from reality. Void space dive 0 sail. Unfurl once again.
Lostbelt number 3. Lostbelt depth E. The synchronized intellect nation Sin, the crimson beauty under the moon. E. EA Sports. Seeding point, the third Lostbelt, Section 1. We must take Neja. We must take Mashu. We are forced into this no matter what. Smash Kyrie Light reporting for duty.
You say you thought you had a dream, that it might have been some kind of sign. And that absurd reasoning has you drinking poison from a chalice?
So, you think it's foolish too, huh? My wife said the same thing. His Imperial Majesty himself gave me this poison. All I need do is drain it in a single gulp and I will displease him no more. I have slain too many for one in my position. You might say I've outlived my usefulness.
I don't understand. None of this would have happened if not for how petty the Emperor is. How can you be willing to lay down your life for a man like that?
You may not see any sense in it, but this is simply what it means to be a warrior.
Once I heard you were going to die, I had to come and ask. Say the word and I'll see everyone who toyed with your destiny, who forced this hollow loyalty upon you, drown in a sea of their own blood.
I'm honored that you're so angry on my behalf. It's more than I deserve, and I will admit that I do have my share of regrets. But at this point, I've truly come to believe this is a fitting end to the life of Gao Changgong.
I don't understand. The way you talk of life and death makes no sense whatsoever. But then, I suppose I could never understand, as death is a concept that's never had meaning to me.
Ah, yes, that is true, isn't it? Perhaps, if anything, I should be the one begging you for forgiveness. After all, the peace I will attain in death will be forever beyond your reach.
Well, perhaps I'm jealous. Jealous of your death and the brilliance of your life leading up to it.
You're too kind. I assure you, I know no more of death's secrets than you do.
Even should I learn them now,
they will soon be lost to darkness. Do you have any last wishes? Good question. If I could wish for something beyond my own death, it would be to someday see you again. I suppose such a wish must sound completely absurd. Not necessarily. I have seen the likes of you shatter more daunting barriers. I've seen them tame lightning, cure plagues, and even change the course of rivers. I cannot say how long it will take, but eventually, the day may come when those bound by mortal lives learn to reach beyond even death. Should such a day come to pass, and if I am lucky enough to be there to see it, then I shall recall your final wish. You just don't know how happy that makes me to hear that. In all my 33 years of life, there's nothing I've treasured more than your presence. Wee budget.
Reality space anchor attached. Reality verification complete. Proper human history resemblance A. Lostbelt depth E. Establishing shadow borders existence within Lostbelt. 0 sail return successful. I'm glad we had another emergence that went so smoothly. How are you feeling, Senpai? I know the poison isn't causing you any pain right now, but I also heard you're not feeling entirely yourself.
I'm fine, just a little short of breath is all.
So cold symptoms are the worst of it for you, are they? Must be nice. I'll have you know I used to have asthma when I was a young lad. But after I read the memoirs of a great bodybuilder, actor, and politician who once suffered from the same disease, I followed his example and overcame it with rigorous training, though sadly I don't have his muscle to show for it. My point, young man, is that all you need is gumption. This is no time to let your fears get the better of you.
I must say, it's almost encouraging to see our commander so energetic despite his poisoning.
Yep. We've still got plenty of time to find a cure, and Gordy's a mage, so he's pretty well accustomed to dire threats like this. Now, let's see what things look like outside.
Foe?
18 degrees Celsius, 30% humidity, gentle breeze, no unusual magical energy readings.
I'm looking out the window right now, and it looks like a field. I gotta say, I'm almost creeped out by how normal it seems here compared to the other two Lostbelts. I'm not quite sure what to make of it. Are there any hostiles outside?
Not according to our instruments. Since it looks like it's safe, why don't we all go see for ourselves?
Let's see, 18C, quick maths, about 64F. 64 Fahrenheit for those that use freedom units. Is this really the Chinese Lostbelt? Foe.
Latitude and longitude don't lie. We're standing right at 32 degrees, 40 feet north, 100 degrees, 50 feet east. In proper human history, this would be Xi'an, a major city with a population of 3.4 million people. Well, this is certainly not a city, but it doesn't look like untamed wilderness either.
Perhaps it is a wheat field or the like. Admittedly, it would be an extraordinarily large one.
I recognize the smell in the air here. This is my homeland. And yet, I have no memory of this strange landscape. How confusing and depressing. It seems I am useless as a guide for you after all. Hey, don't worry about it. All bets are off when it comes to Lostbelt. Besides, we have a much bigger role for you to play than just a guide. For the moment, I've picked up a ley line only a kilometer or so away from here. Between that and how surprisingly safe this area looks to be, I'd say that we're off to a pretty good start. Now then, what do you say we take the shadow border over to the ley line and set up a summoning circle?
Got it. I'll go warm up the engine then. You can never be too prepared for combat in these Lostbelts.
Okay, this ley line's right around that well. Go ahead and park it here. It certainly doesn't look like a dangerous area, but something feels off. True, if anything, it's too peaceful. And considering how expansive this farmland is, it's weird that we haven't seen a single piece of agricultural machinery. The buildings here seem a little bit crude, too. Yeah, I've never seen anything quite like them. Though I guess you could say they kind of look like collective housing.
So you mean like an apartment building?
That's right, although I'm not sure building is the right word for that, structure. All that ground they leveled and they're still living in holes. It's like something out of the Stone Age. Maybe civilization never really developed in this world. Oh, and there's some people headed this way. Shall we try talking to them?
Yes, but do be careful. I doubt they pose any threat to us, but we cannot afford being seen as a threat either.
What the? Who the hell are these people, and what are they doing in our field?
Look at their clothes. Their weird clothes. Do you think they might be foreigners?
Foreigners? Here? Does that mean they came from the strange storm, then? Hurry up and call the supervisor. Maybe he'll know what to do.
Fo.
At least the translators seem to be working fine. According to our linguistic analysis, they're speaking Middle Chinese, a language that predates the Song dynasty. Conversation is a good starting point. However, we have frightened them. This pattern is not good.
Hey, did you really see foreigners? Yeah, they're right over there. See for yourself, Supervisor. They just popped up in my field out of nowhere. They were riding around in that weird box. They wear really strange clothes, and I think they've got weapons.
Ah, crap, I don't like where this is going. Gouda, help us out here before things turn violent. Tell them this is all just a big misunderstanding. If Holmes tries to explain, he'll just make things worse. And what's wrong with my explanations? Okay then. We mean you no harm.
Ah! He talked! If you don't mean any harm, then why'd you show up in the middle of the field dressed like that? Go on, Supervisor, get rid of them for us before they ruin any more wheat. You've got it.
They've all taken up weapons. Now what do we do?
Foe.
It seems their rather bare-bones lifestyle has not lent itself to open minds. I'm afraid we'll need to pacify them before we can begin negotiations.
Is now really the time for detached analysis, Holmes? Can't you use charm on them or something? Gordolf's the only one of us who can use charm spells. Well, he says he can anyway. And even if he's telling the truth, he's still comfortably holed up inside the border right now.
It'd be best to summon a servant who, with a powerful innate charm skill, but that would require access to the ley line, which we don't yet have. It would seem we cannot avoid this battle. Fortunately, our opponents should be willing to listen once they get this out of their system. While this would be an ideal situation for my Baritsu, I'm afraid that I will have to sit this one out.
Oh, right. You still haven't fully recovered yet. Guess we've got no choice then. Mash, Neja, go ahead and fight them if that's what they want. Just make sure not to harm any of them. Understood. I also would like to avoid excessive force. I will be careful. Yes. We'll do as great gentlemen do, in the true spirit of Baritsu.
I see, so you got into a fight almost the instant you left the border.
Yes, I'm afraid we ended up in a standoff with the locals. At least we got them to back down for now.
All thanks to your and Neja's efforts not to harm them. They do appear to understand that our intentions are not violent now. They're currently monitoring us from what I suppose they consider a safe distance. It seems they have their own responsibilities to tend to.
Correct. No signs of reinforcements. We are safe for the moment.
I see. So you managed to avoid provoking them. I'm relieved to hear they're sharp enough to realize we're only lost travelers trying to get our bearings. Although, what about the servants? You said we can summon more once we're able to use the ley line, right?
Da Vinci is outside preparing a summoning circle right now. I think she's run into some kind of trouble, though. Hey guys, I'm setting everything up right now. Just give me a minute to work out the kinks. Sure, I ran into a little trouble, but don't worry. It's the kind I'm used to.
Hey, Da Vinci, are you sure it's okay to hook this weird machine up to Mash's shield? It looks super shady. In fact, it doesn't even look like it was made on Earth.
Oh, right. That's the booster that Shion lent me. Get this, a single one lets you manifest a spirit origin equivalent to 3 servants. She called it, whatchamacallit, Sal. Unfortunately, they burn out after a single use, but we're not going to be stingy with Gouda and Gordy's lives at stake. Alright then, now we just stand by in base state. As soon as we get a response from the servant side, I'll kick it to its excited state so we can start the summoning. There we go. Now it's just a matter of time. As long as the servant has some connection to you, Gouda, I'm sure they'll answer the summon, Lostbelt or not.
I see. Well done, technical advisor. In that case, you can start by summoning a skilled caster capable of brainwashing these barbarians en masse. This is an emergency, and an urgent one at that. We need to start making progress post-haste.
Are you alright with that course of action, Mr. Gouda? Easy there, Director. Let's just calm down.
Calm down? How can I calm down when I will be dead in a matter of days? And have you forgotten this concerns you too?
Regardless, the summoning will take time. It would be in our best interest to negotiate while that proceeds. Sometimes, Mr. Gordolf, there is something to be said for not letting sleeping dogs lie.
All right then. Who's going to lead these amicable negotiations? Gouda already tried and failed, remember? Where are we going to find an angel with a smile cherubic enough to win over those barbaric...
Oh yeah?
Look, chat, we found an angel.
That's right, we're just poor helpless travelers who lost our way.
Oh, you poor thing. That must have been so hard.
We didn't mean to ruin your field, I promise. Do you think you could forgive us?
Oh, don't worry about that. We can always till it again.
Hell, just getting to talk to such a pretty girl as you kind of makes me want to till the field again more than ever. Ah, yes. I too want to till Da Vinci's field. I mean, what? Oh.
Da Vinci really is a force to be reckoned with, isn't she? She's not technically lying, but she's not exactly being truthful either.
She's a demon with the face of an angel. Still, I can understand.
Just look at those men falling all over themselves. That outsider's got them twisted around her little finger. How can they possibly trust any of those foreigners after the beating they gave the poor supervisors?
Aha! Sensing an opportunity. I do beg your pardon about that, madam. Please, allow me to apologize for trampling on your fields as well. I only hope you can believe me when I say that we truly do want nothing more than to resolve this matter peacefully. Unfortunately, the truth is that we have lost our way and are uncertain as to where we are. I'm so terribly sorry to impose, but could you please tell us about this place? You are our only hope.
We are? Well then, I suppose we, ought to step up. True. I mean, if a man this handsome needs our help, the least we can do is hear him out, right?
Foe, don't become corrupted by Holmes and his evil ways. Well, Holmes does have his looks, if nothing else.
Agreed. I do not know why we fought earlier. Well, the important thing is that we've reached a peaceful resolution.
It looks like they were all just scared more than malicious. They seem to be good people at heart. By the way, Da Vinci, what was the trouble you ran into with the Spirit Origin graph earlier?
An excellent question, Holmes. Glad to see you're paying attention to the important bits.
What? I thought you'd already resolved the issue with the summoning of servants.
Less resolved and more worked around. I still don't know what the problem really was. This Lostbelt's nothing like either Russia or Scandinavia. I tried using the ley line here to connect to this Lostbelt's Throne of Heroes, but I didn't get any response.
None whatsoever.
There was nothing wrong with the equipment, so whatever the problem is, it has to do with this world. Granted, the odds were always low that a heroic spirit from this Lostbelt was going to be eager to help us, so I wasn't counting on that. But it's still odd that there would be no answer at all, right, Holmes?
Indeed.
So I just dropped that idea and switched back to trying to summon from Caldia's Spirit Origin graph. Now we're just waiting for a heroic spirit to respond to our call. In fishing terms, we've baited our hook and cast our line. All there is for us to do now is be patient. What could be going on, Senpai?
I don't know. Maybe it means there's no one there?
Honestly, even though my genius once again carried the day, I really don't know what happened there.
Foe.
What I do know is that the connection to the Throne of Heroes is just that, a connection, and it doesn't exist in this Lostbelt's ley line. It could also be that our definition of what a heroic spirit is doesn't match this Lostbelt's. Definition of heroic spirit.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
This is a fascinating phenomenon. One that no doubt gets to the heart of this Lostbelt's true nature. But right now, we have nothing more than speculation. We'll need to collect more evidence before we can begin drawing any conclusions.
Oh, that sounds to me like you already have a pretty good idea of what's going on, Holmes.
I do have a hypothesis, but a good detective only shares their deductions once they are supported by clear and undeniable evidence. In other words, I'm going to be a smug prick about this. So smug. Thank you, B6, for the follow. Section 1, Arrow 2. We are still in Smash Kyrie light mode. Mash must smash. The air is so clean here.
It is, isn't it? It feels like forever since I was last able to breathe so easily. Since in the other Lostbelts, the border was the only safe place we could go. Oh, and I almost forgot we have the Caldia base now, too. Anyway, being surrounded by a natural landscape like this really feels like... Uh-huh? What's that up in the sky above us, Senpai?
Ah, yes. The sun. That is a celestial star, Mash. It gives us warmth and light. It looks like some kind of a streak.
I didn't notice that during the night, but that's definitely strange, right? Senpai? I guess it must be normal here since none of the locals seem to be taking any notice of it. Da Vinci still has them all practically enthralled.
Can you blame them? Look at her.
So hey, what's the name of this era?
Era? What's that?
Oh, I was mostly just wondering what year it was.
Well, I'm turning 22 this year. We all start working when we turn 5, and I've planted these fields 17 times now, so that adds up, right?
Thanks. I was thinking more along the lines of a calendar, though. It's time to plant the seeds and harvest the last crops, of course. You can tell by the moon, you see.
Let's try this then. Who is the foremost leader in the world right now?
Why, that'd be the most
Wow, what was that accent?
Why, that'd be the most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor, of course.
And what is this emperor's name?
Name? Why, most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor, of course. You might as well ask me what the sun and moon are called. The name's right there.
Well, where might we find this emperor then?
In the capital. Where else?
And where's that?
They say it's way, way off in that direction.
Have you ever been there?
Me? Why would I ever go there?
We only worship from afar with gratitude. None of us would exist without our most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor's blessing, after all.
Hello, Moonha.
Huh?
What's up, Mash?
Senpai, do you smell that?
Oh, are you talking about my eau de cologne? I did switch to my more wild American brand after we got here.
No, I don't mean that. It's less of a human scent and more... beastly? This presence, no mistake, bloodthirsty creatures, are headed this way.
What is that thing? There's another one over there.
What the? Those are the Krachat, like we saw in Russia. What are they doing here?
We can figure that out later, Da Vinci. Right now, we need to evacuate the villagers. Alright.
Hostiles eliminated. That said,
Those were from the Russian Lostbelt.
I can't believe we're seeing creatures from an entirely different Lostbelt here. This is too bizarre to be coincidence.
You there, have you ever seen creatures like this before?
No way. I've never seen a monster like that in my life. Me neither. The worst things we've seen until now were the wild boars the supervisor used to chase off. If we'd ever run into these things before, we'd probably be dead now.
Don't worry, we'll help you for as long as we're here. It's the least we can do to make up for ruining your field. Right, Master?
Of course. Besides, this might have something to do with us.
What are you two saying? We didn't come here to serve as this village's bodyguards.
No, Ms. Kitty Alite is correct. Those Krachat should not be present here. If they have made a sudden appearance, we should investigate it. How are you feeling, Gouda? I'm fine.
Great! Your vital signs are all looking good too, so your condition's definitely not too serious just yet. We've still got to keep a close eye on it, of course, but I don't think we need to worry too much just now.
I must say, you're looking a tad pale, Commander. Are you sure you won't lie down in the command room?
Oh, be quiet. I just have a little heartburn from eating too much cake, that's all. I'm in perfectly good health, I'll have you know. If a third-rate mage can handle this poison without a problem, then of course I can too.
Well, that aside, we're still no closer to getting our bearings here, even with the local sharing. Our first order of business is gathering as much information as possible. Otherwise, we have no way of knowing where to even begin.
Where to begin? How about we begin with finding Koyanskaya like we originally planned?
A fair point. I sincerely doubt she came here on a lark. Very well then, how do we track her down? We'll never find her if we merely walk around without a plan, after all. Given that this is a lost belt, we know that there must be a cryptor guarding its tree of emptiness somewhere.
And just like in Scandinavia, this Lost Belt's tree doesn't seem to be visible.
Yes, that concerns me too. The Russian tree was so large as to be visible from hundreds of kilometers away. The fact that we cannot see it here means that it must be disguised as it was in Scandinavia. And that in turn means this Lost Belt's king understands that it is something best kept hidden.
Of course, if they so wished, a fairy or sage could make a mountain disappear with relative ease.
I really don't want to imagine going up against someone like that, but given everything so far... Indeed. Even if we were to capture Koyanskaya today, we cannot simply leave this Lost Belt behind. As long as it exists, it remains a threat to proper human history. Sooner or later, we will need to face the crypto responsible for it.
All the more reason for us to hurry along with our investigation. You're all being far too generous, agreeing to be this village's bodyguards. I mean, I can understand how scared those villagers would be if the Krachat were to suddenly attack again, but...
I assure you, Mr. Gordov, this is all part of our investigation.
What was that?
It's safe to assume that those hostile creatures are the same type of demonic beast we fought in Russia. Think back to when we first learned about them. The Krachat are demonic beasts that originated in the Russian Lost Belt and possess numerous characteristics that let them survive in its frigid environment. But this Lost Belt is far too warm for such creatures. Oh, now I get it. So that's why Mash and Gouda agreed to help.
Right. This has everything to do with us. The fact that those creatures showed up in a different Lostbelt can only mean that someone brought them here.
Indeed, someone who can come and go between Lostbelts as they please. Since we can, of course, eliminate ourselves as suspects, that only leaves one possibility. Tamamo Vichkoyanskaya. Precisely. A most astute interjection, Mr. Gouda. Watson would have been proud. Finding Koyanskaya remains our top priority, but at the moment we have far too little information to act on. If anything, the Krachat's appearance is our only real lead so far. We cannot afford to just overlook it.
Hey, can I just say something? I sent out a surveillance drone towards the capital, and I discovered something interesting.
Oh? Was there actually a city out that way?
I tried zooming in and cleaning up the long-range footage as best I could, and... well, it's easier if you just take a look.
Ah, yes, Final Fantasy. What the hell? For once, I am genuinely at a loss for words.
So much for civilization never developing here. If they've got the science and engineering know-how to build a metropolis like this, then they've come way farther technologically than we thought. I mean, there's not a single support column holding this thing up, so they obviously figured out how to make it float. And since it's clearly no giant air bladders or the like, I've gotta wonder just how the hell they're making something that heavy float.
Perhaps magecraft is openly used here. Either that, or they really have advanced scientifically to the point where they can control gravity. In the latter case, they would be well ahead of proper human history, at least in terms of technology.
Oh, and while I was at it, I grabbed some footage of that weird, perfectly straight line in the sky too. Here it is at max magnification.
What is this thing?
Well, for starters, it's about 2,000 kilometers above us, so it's just barely in low orbit. By my estimates, it's more than 5 kilometers wide. And that's not even the best part. It stretches along the entire observable sky of the Lostbelt.
Whoa. Then how come we couldn't see it before entering this Lostbelt? If it's 2,000 kilometers up, that's gotta put it above the storm clouds, right?
That must mean that the Lostbelt's borders prevent anything within from being seen, storm or no. Anything built during their history, no matter how big it might be, is impossible to observe from the outside. Forget measuring size and mass. From the outside, there's no way to even know it exists at all. Even now that we can observe it, I have no idea what it is or what it's for. If the people of this world built it themselves, that raises even more questions.
I'll say, how can something like that even exist when life in this farming village is so primitive?
I kept flying the drone around in every direction, but I didn't see any other buildings or structures even remotely close to the scope of the capital. East, west, north, south, it was nothing but fields everywhere I looked.
Seriously? Man, I can't tell if this place is way ahead of proper human history or way behind it. Whatever is taking place here, it no doubt stems from this world's deviation from proper human history. Da Vinci, I trust you can determine the capital's latitude and longitude from here. What happens when you map it to the China that we know? Is there a record of a capital city dating back to a well-known dynasty there?
Oh, you already figured that out? I wanted to keep you all in suspense a little longer.
I can certainly understand the desire for a dramatic reveal of your information. Under the present circumstances, however, I'm afraid we are reliant on you for all such inquiries, so please give us your information now.
Yeah, you made your point. Based on its distance from our present location, it corresponds to proper human history's Shanyang Prefecture. Shanyang? Isn't that...
Indeed, it dates back to the Qin dynasty. Qin? That was before the Three Kingdoms era, wasn't it? Does that mean it even predates Zhang Yu and Liu Bang?
That's right. The Qin dynasty was a major empire around 200 BC. It's known for being the dynasty of China's first emperor. It was the country ruled by the great Qin Shi Huang.
So that is Chaldea, your enemy.
Yes, but not only are they my sworn enemy, they also command a threat to the safety of your empire. Namely, heroic spirits.
Oh, by the way, welcome to banger music. Oh, we see. Indeed, we were quite surprised when you first told us of them. You said this master can summon an army of great heroes from the past, correct? We find this difficult to credit, indeed. We are certain you would not lie to us, but how could a few mere soldiers ever hope to overturn our eternal reign? We cannot even imagine the possibility.
You underestimate heroic spirits at your peril. Those whose souls are offered to the counterforce are given tremendous power to ensure the continuation of humanity. Trust me when I say that a single servant is easily the equivalent of 1,000 ordinary soldiers.
So, this Alaya you spoke of, you said it is the sum total of human consciousness. This sounds like pure nonsense to us. Is this the manner of thing you simply accept in your own world?
You make an excellent point, Your Imperial Majesty. My world was more chaotic and less complete than yours.
It must have been if something so preposterous as resurrecting dead heroic spirits to fight in one's place is considered normal. We cannot help but wonder how a world where such things were necessary to maintain order could have lasted.
I must warn you too, Your Imperial Majesty. The Master of Chaldea is an enemy you cannot afford to ignore.
Ah, right. We had forgotten that you are from the same world as Akuta, Kominskia.
My name is Koyanskaya, Your Imperial Majesty. Do you think you could try to remember this time?
Watch your tongue when speaking to the Emperor, wretch.
No matter. These visitors come from a world beyond our domain. Of course our customs elude them.
Thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. I do understand that you may find it rude and presumptuous of me to warn one as so omnipotent as you. But the fact is, Chaldea has already brought strange creatures with them that threaten your people's safety. This poses quite a problem for your quarantine as well. After all, you don't want anyone else to get the corona, do you? Surely you don't want them to get away with this. Please, Your Imperial Majesty. If we merely wait for them to reveal their true barbaric nature, it will be too late.
If it is so important to you, then why have you not done something about it yourself? You command these servant puppets as well, do you not?
Yes, I do. If you would forgive me for disturbing your eternal paradise, I can summon one right now.
Very well. Show us exactly what these warriors from another world are capable of.
Yes, Your Imperial Majesty.
Let me tell you this. Whenever Koyanskaya becomes available to summon, I better be able to put her in this China dress, or I am going to tantrum. Tantrum like no man has ever tantrumed before.
This emperor is much more laid back than I thought. I expected a bit more eagerness to take down the threats to their empire. I had hoped for the same. Nothing ever seems to go as planned with the emperor. But, oh well. That isn't going to change. Well, sorry you had to end up having to do all the work in consequence. I do hope it won't take you too long to finish them off. Is that all you have to say for yourself after all the trouble you've caused? Yeah? Please, don't glare at me like that, Akuta. You're gonna make me cry. We're on the same side in all of this. Besides, isn't the Master of Caldia every Crypter's sworn enemy? Of course. You could have lured them to any of the others' territory, and any of them would have made sure to finish him off. I'd go so far as to say any one of them would be a better pick for this kind of work than me. So why did you have to bring them to China? They're only here because they were following you, right? Thank you so much for that. Aw, don't be so hard on yourself, Akuta. I really thought that you would be the best fit for the job, seeing how you're so good at defense and all. You see, I actually tried to assassinate him as a favor for Beryl. But I'm afraid things didn't quite go as planned. You see, the poison I used is called Shan Shui Mingmai, and... well, I don't suppose you already know what it is, do you? You are unbelievable. Hey, so you do know about it. You're one smart cookie, aren't you? In that case, you can see where this is going, right? Including what they'll try to do to find an antidote. Koyanskaya, did you do this on purpose? No, I didn't. This time I only had about 10% of a plan. That's why I wasted no time coming to warn you, Akuta. I wanted to take responsibility, you see. I mean, Caldia's got the world's greatest inventor and greatest detective on their side now, right? I knew it wouldn't take them long at all to figure out where the poison came from. So I thought, instead of wasting time trying to sweep this under the rug, it would be much better to fortify our defenses now. So here I am, warning you about the danger and taking responsibility.
Koyanskaya, you must take responsibility. Wink, wink.
It's not like you and I are complete strangers, right? So I thought I could help you out with getting rid of Caldia. Besides, we're both misanthropic outcasts. It only makes sense for us to join forces, don't you think?
God, I love that face so much. I want that face in my life.
True. That much I know we have in common. But that still doesn't explain why you brought those dangerous pets of yours along. Pets? Perish the thought. They have their dignity, at least as far as wild animals go. So you didn't order them to go around killing people? Of course not. Why would I rob myself of the pleasure of torturing and killing humans? No, they're just doing their best to survive and find food in an environment they're not used to. Don't you find that far more endearing than a bunch of defanged livestock like this nation's people? That's not the problem, and you know it. How could you set demonic beasts from another Lostbelt loose here? If the Emperor finds out you're the one responsible for them, you will find yourself in real trouble. Oh, that? Well, you might say that's just a lifelong project for me. Don't worry, I promise I won't make any trouble for you. You have your own life's work that you've devoted yourself to, don't you, Akuta? So I think we'll both be happier if we just stay out of each other's way. Fine. What's done is done, after all. There's no way I'm letting Caldia mess up my nice, stable Lostbelt. Don't you dare go easy on them, Saber. As you wish, Master. I promise, I won't let you down. Huh? When did you summon him? I can tell he's got a beautiful face underneath that mask, too. No fair, Akuta. How come you're the only one who gets a certified hottie working for her? That's not why he's here. Ugh, just shut up already, you damned fox.
I like how Koyanskaya fucks with all of the cryptors equally. Truly, she is on nobody's side. But Koyanskaya's side. Ah, the Empire. The Monarchy. The Eternal Empire. Let us begin Section 2. Here, let's make life hyper easy. This will be funny, like a joke. Funny, haha. Where is Santa? Remember to put MASH in your party, everybody, as she gives bond points to everyone by 20%. You want MASH in your party for literally the entirety of the Lostbelt. Sure, we'll put Parvati in. She's only bond level 4 right now. Alright, let's go.
Qin Shi Huang, the Emperor of Qin.
Qin Shi Huang, you say? Don't you think that's a little far-fetched? Qin Shi Huang is from the BC era. How could he possibly still be alive in 2020?
Well, normally you'd be right, but are you forgetting the Tsar that we just fought recently, who had been living for around 500 years? So is it really such a stretch that a Chinese emperor might have managed to survive over 2,000 years?
The Qin Emperor had a legal system, standardized units of measurement, paper money. It was very much ahead of its time in many ways. China would go on to see the rise and fall of many other dynasties. But when it comes to making progress as a civilization, such instability is unhelpful. If Qin had remained as the sole power in China, no doubt it would have reached a point where it would easily swallow up neighboring countries, which could, in turn, have sped up humanity's overall progress considerably.
Yep, I could easily see that happening if someone like Qin Shi Huang had been able to keep on ruling. In fact, he actually spent a lot of his later years searching for a way to achieve immortality. Qin collapsed due to political instability after Qin Shi Huang's death, right?
In which case, if Qin Shi Huang somehow succeeded at becoming immortal in this history, much like how Ivan the Terrible did so by becoming a Yaga, it would theoretically be possible for China to skip all of its years of instability and civil war and go straight to modernization.
That could definitely explain how they were able to build something so huge along a satellite orbit path. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the sort of thing that Qin Shi Huang wanted to build all along.
The one thing we do know is that this nation has not seen the kind of societal change that typically accompanies scientific progress. The advancements of science inevitably makes authoritarian regimes obsolete past a certain point, but just look at this village. Yeah, they might as well be stuck in the BC era. Regardless of who this most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor residing in Shanyang may be, it seems clear that he has no intention of sharing the benefits of all this progress with his citizens.
Huh? Hang on! Some sort of projectile was just fired from the capital. It's headed in this direction. In fact, it looks like it's going to land right in this village. I can see it from here. It looks like a rocket.
I certainly hope it's not some sort of intercontinental ballistic missile. Oh, that's a benefaction. Benefaction? Yeah, the most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor uses those to grant gifts whenever there's a celebration. We know exactly where it lands, so it's perfectly safe as long as you keep your distance.
Why would there be one now, though? Is today some sort of holiday?
I don't think so. Then it's not an attack after all. That's a relief, but it still seems like a rough way to send a package. I'm afraid we're not so lucky. I'm seeing vital signs inside that thing, along with a magical energy signal we're all too familiar with. That is a master and their servant, no mistake. If they mean to attack us, we will respond with due force.
Foe! Oh, come on! You're telling me they're making their way here in that?
That does seem like a somewhat less than ideal conveyance. It will still no doubt be a rough landing.
No problem there, since it's a master traveling with their servant.
They can just jump out before it lands. The servant can handle the landing.
Exactly, Gouda. I knew you'd know how to make effective use of a servant. Here it comes. Everyone brace for impact.
As we expected. So, that is this Lostbelt's crypto.
That's Akata Hinako. I see, so China is her territory. Akata. It looks like you're taking this seriously, Mash. And here I thought I'd find you smirking. I'd never do that. I take no joy whatsoever in fighting you. Then you're even more hopeless than I thought. You're no better than animals who lack a concept of shame. I feel no more animosity towards you than I do a cockroach nest before I exterminate it. Even that is more emotion than you deserve. That's terrible. Yikes, are you really Akata Hinako? You're nothing like you were back in Kaldia. Da Vinci. So it's true then, you really were killed. You might not believe me, but that body of yours is perfect. You've achieved the realm that humans cannot reach with their meager insight. The true new form that the intelligent aim for.
I keep telling you, chat. The true final step of evolution for mankind, lollies.
I'm surprised you would make something like that, Leonardo. Humans really are just... No. As long as you're part of Kaldia, that makes you my enemy. You'll have no sympathy from me. Saber, eliminate them. Remove these eyesores from my sight. Yes, as you wish, Master. Here they come, Senpai. We're about to face Akata Hinako and her saber. Commencing battle. Now I see. No wonder Ophelia and Kadok lost. You're obviously used to fighting with servants. That experience has given you quite an edge. Master, it would be foolish to continue this battle any longer. I suggest we make a temporary retreat. Damn it, I really underestimated them. Let's go, Saber. Yes, Master. Akata. The enemy has retreated, Master. The battle is over.
Foe! Foe!
That's right, foe. You tell him to run.
I'm surprised they gave up so easily. Then again, Akata was always pretty decisive. No, I'm afraid that we neither dealt her a decisive blow, nor were we able to make her show her hand. If anything, now she knows how strong we truly are. But she is a lot stronger than she lets on. Yeah, she's a tough opponent. It looks like she wasn't kidding about exterminating us like cockroaches. She only took the direct approach this time because she thought she could wipe us out. This just wasn't the sort of fight she wanted. She'd rather retreat and figure out a strategy that will let her win without putting in any real effort. It looks like that profile of hers saying that she was a neat freak was right on the money.
So, you went and made a great fool of yourself. We will not laugh at you. Your little show with the Chaldeans was interesting.
I blame no one but myself for my disgraceful performance. Still, perhaps now you at least understand the threat these invaders pose, Your Imperial Majesty.
Threat? A threat, you say? Why should we feel threatened just because you retreated? Well, since your little display amused us, you may continue it. In fact, you may bring 10 of our puppets with you for the second act.
With all due respect, Your Imperial Majesty, if you treat this latest disaster as mere entertainment...
We might say the same as you, Akuta. Given your reluctance with which you engage in combat, we can only conclude that this is some sort of game to you. If you are going to fight, then fight to win. There is nothing to be gained by running away before you suffer so much as a single loss.
Understood, Your Imperial Majesty. I won't fail again.
Good. We look forward to a future showing with a bit more substance to it.
Oh, Your Imperial Majesty, you're so bad. Is this your way of punishing poor little Akuta?
Is that how it seemed to you, Kominsky?
Ko-yan-sky-ya.
We see no sense in punishing her when we do not yet even think of these Chaldeans as our enemy. They may have come here from another world, but that is also true of you and Akuta.
Huh? Yes, I do suppose that's true.
If these Chaldeans are here to mount an attack, we would have to suspect you two as their advance guard.
Akuta and I came here to pay our respects and offer our services as soon as we arrived, Your Imperial Majesty. But the only thing Chaldea has done since they arrived is cause trouble and mayhem in your territory. Don't you think that sets us apart kind of a lot?
Indeed, you have a point. But is that not why Akuta went after them? To scold them for their poor manners? You outsiders certainly do care a great deal about etiquette. Ho, 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 ho.
Section 2, Part 2.
Ooh, woo. Let's take Passionate. And then we will swap around when need be. Whoops, I meant to go to that. Yes, wunderbar. Wonderful. So what is Akuta Hinako like?
Well, the last version of me wasn't too involved with Team A, so I can't speak from experience. But her record said she was extremely careful in every aspect of her relationship to others. That reminds me. Kadok used to say that she had a personal connection to Director Marsbury. Really? That's news to me. Then again, I could see her allowing Kadok to believe that. But why would she do so? Probably to keep the kid at arm's length, I guess. I wouldn't be shocked to hear she had similar strategies for everyone. My guess is that she was trying to cultivate a very specific image for herself among Team A. Namely, to leave the faintest impression among them, to seem neither too hostile nor too friendly.
In other words, a stalwart misanthrope.
Well, yeah, basically. But you don't have to be so quite so blunt about it, Holmes. True, she did like to keep to herself. She did her best to avoid interacting with anyone. The main thing I remember about her is how quiet she was. I never saw her get upset or even smile.
If she wasn't curled up in a corner of her room reading, it was because she was getting new books from the library. I always felt bad about interrupting her.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure she wasn't cut out for combat at all, no matter how much aptitude she may have had for being a master. Based strictly on her profile, out of all the cryptors, I thought she might be the only one who could maybe resolve things with peacefully.
Well, you couldn't have been more wrong. I'm still getting chills from those icy glares of hers. I've never seen such naked contempt in my life. The only thing that comes close to Koyanskaya's glare whenever I make a move on her after having too much to drink.
True, the Akuta Hinako we just fought was nothing like the quiet girl her personality profile described. Her sheer hostility was... No, not hostility, it was more like disgust. Either way, I never expected that from her. There is one thing I can remember that might help explain it. It was back when we were all taking a break in the rec room, some time after Team A had been formed. Kadok was nursing a drink while Beryl cheered him on. Kirstara and David were arguing about mythology. Pepperoncino was teasing Ophelia with some sort of joke. As usual, Akuta was off reading by herself, refusing to participate in any of the conversations. I'm certain that whenever I looked directly at her, she always had her nose in her book. I'm sure anyone else who had been there would agree with me. But when I happened to catch a glimpse of Akuta's reflection in a glass I was polishing, I realized that wasn't the case at all. She was actually just hiding her face behind the book and was in fact keeping a close watch on each of us. She was so guarded, almost as though she was terrified of something. But by the time I had turned around to look at her, she had her nose back in her book. She went right back to pretending to read the second she sensed my eyes on her. Well, that is kind of unnerving. Akuta wasn't disinterested in her teammates at all. If anything, I think she was so suspicious about something that she never let her guard down. Unfortunately, I was never able to ask her why she was so afraid of her team. It seemed like a subject I should avoid at all costs. It sounds to me like she was more guarded about people in general than her teammates specifically. Maybe there was something she was trying to keep secret. We still have her background file along with the results from her selection exam. Maybe we should take another look at it. Want to handle that, Holmes? This sort of thing is what you detective types are all about, right? That and investigating cheating spouses, of course.
Unfaithful spouses aside, this sort of thing is indeed where a true detective shines. By all means, send the data to my workshop. Oh no, the incredibly silent alarm.
Your attention please, I have a Da Vinci warning to make. Shan Yang just fired another projectile. It doesn't look like this one's aimed at the village. But after calculating its landing point, I found it's coming from the same direction in which Akuta Hinaka retreated. And I'm pretty sure that means...
Reinforcements, right?
I think so too. Of course, it'd be suicide to send normal soldiers via rocket, so it's probably carrying weaponry. Akuta's almost certainly going to try and attack us again, so we need to be ready to fight back.
Da Vinci, what about summoning more servants? I believe enough time has passed that it should be more than possible to do so.
Yep, we're all set there. In fact, I just finished the summoning right now. Since we're going up against an empire that has stood for thousands of years and its emperor, I decided to bring along 3 musketeer rebels.
Musketeer rebels?
Mordred, the rebel of the Round Table. Sup, guys? Spartacus, the liberator of the slave gladiators.
Death to all oppressors!
And Jing Kei, the world's foremost expert in assassinating Qin Shi Huang. Wait, what? That's why you brought me here?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You're trying to take down the Qin Empire, right? And Qin Shi Huang with it, right? You're giving me another chance to kill him, right? Oh, that's great. Really, definitely couldn't have picked anyone better for the job. But what's with the 3 Musketeers thing? You know my spirit origin. Hell, even my noble phantasm has got to be stronger than ever thanks to the fame and tradition boost. So how come I'm getting treated like I'm second string? I mean, I don't have any objections to you choosing to summon me, of course. It's just... pitiful.
Now, we all hate oppressors here. I would be honored to fight by your side in toppling this one, heroic spirit assassin Jing Kei.
Hell yeah! My old man's fought Caldy a bunch of times too, you know. You said this guy's an emperor? No sweat then. I don't know what back-asswards Roman province he rules, but I'm sure we'll have plenty of chances to off him.
Is it just me, or is Spartacus's inability to make sense rubbing off on Mordred?
I don't think so. I mean, true, she didn't always make the most sense in Camelot, but she was a huge help to us in London. Well, whatever. I'm just glad that I'll have allies I can count on to help me out this time. Since I finally have another chance to end Qin Shi Huang's life with my own hands, nothing else matters.
Exactly! Let us bring this oppressor to justice together.
Nobody plays king around me and lives to do it again. Well, at least they should still be more helpful than Qin Wu Yang was. So, I hate to impose on you guys so soon, but the enemy's wasting no time coming after us. There's a servant headed our way at high speed along with... Huh? Hang on, there's more of them now. This is weird. I'm seeing magical energy signals, but no vital signs.
Foot soldiers? No, I can see they aren't human. Are those puppets? Perhaps some sort of automata? Correct. Correct. They may be silent, but they are soldiers nonetheless. Thanks to them, I'm finally able to make use of my true skills as a general.
Those movements. I did not want to believe it was... Be careful, Saber. It seems they've added to their ranks as well. Hell yeah, they have. I don't know what this Lostbelt shit's all about, but this is my battlefield now. Whatever you're trying to pull, you better believe I'm gonna smash it. Bukuroshteyare!
Well said. From now on, you will need to contend with we three musketeer.
No, none of that. Shame on you. I guess Sparty really liked that name, huh? Heroic spirits who delight in battle and bloodshed, huh? You make me sick. Make sure to finish them this time, Saber. Don't hold anything back. Very well, Master. Then I shall end this with my secret attack. Curses! I cannot believe that even my leadership is not enough to defeat them.
Wearing a mask to boost his leadership capabilities. A level of influence over his forces that borders on a curse. That Saber's true name is the Prince of Lanling, also known as Gao Changgong, of the Northern Qi.
Saber, stand down. We're going to regroup. But... we cannot win this battle after your noble phantasm failed. We need a wholly new strategy. As you wish, Master. The enemy's servant and master have retreated. It looks like we've managed to survive again.
Whoa, whoa!
Are you alright, Gouda? It must be difficult for you to be in combat given your condition.
I'm fine.
That's our master for you. I applaud your mental mettle in not succumbing to this disease.
Meh, those soldier robot things turned out to be pretty freaking pathetic, huh? Can't believe this king uses them to fight his wars. I've seen scarier dolls.
I thought they were supposed to be weapons.
Yeah, I figured they'd never send reinforcements by rocket like that. Obviously, I was wrong. No normal flesh and blood soldiers could have survived the impact, but it's no issue for these things.
Would it be possible to collect their remains? I'd like to study them further.
At a glance, they look a lot like the same kinds of automata we fought dozens of times before.
I'm interested in their energy source. I think it may shed some light on this world's inner workings.
What is it, Neja? Something on your mind? Yes, possibly. I would like to take a look at the remains as well.
We saw your battle from here as well. You need not bother with a third attempt. Your servant alone is clearly no match for them.
I am afraid not, Your Imperial Majesty.
Then we shall provide you with further assistance, although these servants are indeed formidable foes. Another 100 or 200 foot soldiers are unlikely to make much difference. Ah, but what of your Zhang Yu?
Lord Zhang Yu, but he's...
Indeed, even now he remains one of our most helpful retainers. But it is when facing an unknown enemy that he shines brightest. It would be a waste to keep him confined to Shanyang under these circumstances, so we shall lend him to you. Make good use of him.
I will, Your Imperial Majesty. Such unexpected delight. You are far too kind.
Still, sending Zhang Yu out to the front line will require some time to prepare. In the meantime, keep a close eye on Chaldea, and continue to ensure they do not attempt to take any action against our empire.
Yes, Your Imperial Majesty. Well, I've never seen Akata get flustered before. Who knew she had a girlish side to her? That said, I'm surprised you're bringing out Zhang Yu now, Your Imperial Majesty. Don't you think it's time you stop playing around?
What a strange question. Do we appear to be treating this as a game to you, Konanska?
It's Koyanskaya. If you truly see Chaldea as a threat now, the sensible thing to do would be to wipe them out in a single overwhelming strike. And in your case, Your Imperial Majesty, you could accomplish that merely by lifting your little finger.
Yes, we could if we so desired.
And yet you still sent Akata Hinako out instead. This latest decision may have seemed like you taking things a bit more seriously, but you actually have no reason to believe it will be a decisive blow. Be honest, Your Imperial Majesty. You aren't testing Chaldea, you're testing Akata Hinako, aren't you?
Indeed, we can see quite clearly that the threat the Chaldeans pose stems from being backed into a corner, so to speak. What we have yet to see is how Akata will behave when she believes she has found a means to defeat them.
Still doesn't trust Akata or me one bit, huh? Well, I guess this kind of King of the Lostbelt wouldn't be a fool. But I can't tell how seriously this whole thing is being taken. It's so much harder to read someone when you can't see their face.
That aside, we have underestimated these servants. We thought they would be little more than ghosts, but it seems they are quite skilled.
Yes, they are. The magecraft they use is very different from the sage arts your empire has cultivated.
So, there's more to using servants than summoning the souls of decorated heroes and commanding them.
The difference between mere necromancy and heroic spirit summoning is that heroic spirits make contracts to serve their masters of their own free will.
So, these dead souls lend their strength in response to the existential threat faced by their world. Would you say that is correct, Koyan Chihuahua?
Yes, exactly, Your Imperial Majesty, and once again, my name is Koyanskaya.
What a horrific proposition. To think your world was so perilous it could not even let the dead rest in peace. We would never permit such things to exist in our domain. Those who meet glorious ends would never think to threaten the peace of our world.
I'm sure. I doubt something like the counterforce would ever even take root here.
We dislike the idea of these guests traipsing about with their ghosts doing whatever they please. Fortunately, we have heroes sleeping here who are far more ferocious than these mere ghosts. Is that not correct, Captain of the Guard?
Indeed, Your Imperial Majesty. Given this potential threat to our nation, I suggest we summon the one sleeping in Mount Lee.
Yes, perhaps you are right. Some basic precautionary measures should suffice. We command that the frozen heroes be awakened.
Yes, Your Imperial Majesty.
Huh? Does this mean you're finally taking this seriously?
Now listen here, Qin Shi Huang. My glorified necromancy is gonna kick your ass. I hope you're ready for it. Ay-ya-ya. Ay-ya-ya-ya-ya. Oh, we'll just Lancelot this. Section 3. Aberrant Shadow. Man, that was a hell of a quarrel. Keep this up and one of you's gonna end up dead.
A quarrel? I think you misunderstand. We were genuinely risking our lives.
Huh? Why's that?
For that matter, why'd you hit those guys so hard anyway? I mean, I know they started it, but still, you guys must really hate each other.
Pardon me, forgive the interruption, but have you ever seen these automata before? Nope, never. What are those things anyway? At first I was freaking out because I thought you had killed them. But then I saw they didn't even bleed when their limbs broke off, so I thought they might be scarecrows. But making scarecrows that complex seems kinda pointless, so now I don't know what to think.
Come on, what kind of a scarecrow would go around picking fights?
Good point. Mr. Gouda, can I have a word with you on the shadow border? Tell me, what do you make of the villagers' reactions? They're very laid back. Indeed, they seem to be completely oblivious to the danger. They were far more worked up when they found us trampling their fields. I can understand how they might regard our fight with Octa as something that doesn't concern them, but the same cannot be said for these mechanical dolls. Akata Hinako did not bring these over from proper human history. This technology is foreign to us. What's more, Shan Yang clearly sent them to her to reinforce her. All this leads me to believe these automata are a type of weapon native to this world, and yet the people who live here claim never to have seen them before.
So what? Maybe these are just a bunch of backward country bumpkins. Fo?
We can assume that Okta has formed an alliance with this world's ruler, just as we've seen in previous Lostbelts. For the moment, let us further assume this ruler is in fact Qin Shi Huang. If true, it is certainly sensible that he would send these automata to aid her in battle. It then stands to reason that, upon seeing us fight their nation's armed forces, these farmers would see us as a threat and treat us accordingly. And yet, that proves not to be the case. In which case, I can draw only one conclusion, which is that these villagers are so wholly ignorant of war that they do not even know weaponry.
Say what? Is that even possible?
It is. However, we all saw that their fight or flight reflex tended toward the former on our initial encounter. So while I doubt that this world is completely devoid of danger... Do you hear that racket outside, too?
Ah! It's more of those strange monsters!
Why are you freaking out? Isn't it the survivor's job to get rid of things like that?
How the hell are we supposed to chase those things away with a stick? Please, travelers, you gotta help us.
Indeed. I believe we should lend a helping hand here as well.
Right, moving in to intercept hostiles.
Foe!
Those creatures aren't native to this land either. No, they weren't. That was a Jotun, a type of giant we fought in the Scandinavian Lostbelt. Oh, this just keeps getting weirder, huh? A few of them are running away, so they probably got a nest somewhere around here. A nest? Yep, better track them down and wipe them out, or things are gonna get way worse around here, seeing how this village has shit all for defense. Man, you guys really are amazing. I can't believe you took care of those scary monsters just like that.
There is nothing I like more than shielding the weak. I hate to think of us as weak, but I can't blame you. The only way we could have won is with the Heavenly Emperor's divine aid.
I see. Then the reason you supervisors wield weapons is indeed solely to defend the village.
That's right. Not that we have a lot to do, of course. Usually the most we have to worry about is chasing off the odd stray dog or boar. Well, that and helping the occasional drunkard cool off, I guess.
What about invasions from foreign countries? Are you not concerned about those?
Foreign countries? You know, the places the foreigners come from. Remember how the elder used to tell us he heard there were places other than here when he was just a kid?
Just a moment, please. What exactly do you mean by when you say foreigners?
What do we mean? I'm not sure what to say.
We've just heard rumors that say they look like us, but they're actually monsters that are scarier than any boar.
And that they like to eat our livers instead of our crops.
That's why we thought you were going to eat us when you first showed up. Sorry about that.
I see. Now I understand. The people of this Lostbelt have no concept of separate nations. At least their only knowledge is derived from distorted ancient legend and hearsay.
So what, you're saying the probability the Qin Empire dominated... The probably Qin Empire dominated this entire world? You're kidding! Is it even possible for people to put aside all their ethnic and religious differences to make that happen? So that's why they've never seen soldiers before, let alone war.
That means this world is so perfectly peaceful that not only do people not need to arm themselves, they do not even know what weapons are. This country is the ideal nation made reality. Can you even imagine such a thing?
Look at that! The terracotta soldiers! I have arrived at Mount Lee, Your Imperial Majesty. Which warrior would you like me to unseal?
If this were a foreign expedition, it would be no matter if they were somewhat free-spirited. But since this is a domestic matter, we would prefer not to use someone too rambunctious.
Then you are saying we should not evaluate our warrior on combat ability alone.
If they were to incite a rebellion, we could not keep an eye on them and Chaldea at the same time. For example, do not even think about releasing anyone from, like, the Taoyuan brothers. They could get carried away and try to take over the empire for themselves. We need a warrior who is not only brave, but also kind and modest. One who is fiercely loyal to this empire and its people, and who will defend them at all costs. We would like for you to choose this warrior, Captain.
Me, your Imperial Majesty. Are you sure you want me to handle such an important task?
Why else would we send you, our Captain of the Guard, all the way to Mount Lee? Surely you are aware that reviving a frozen hero carries some risk.
Well, yes, of course.
Something could even go wrong with their mind during the unsealing, causing them to fly into a rage. It would be bitterly ironic if we were to release a hero for the purpose of preventing a war, only for them to transform into disaster incarnate. So we deemed it prudent to have you present for the unsealing in the event such a danger did present itself. Do you understand?
So then, you're saying you want me to deal with them in case they happen to go berserk?
Indeed. This hero must be strong enough to defeat these heroic spirits from another world, but not so strong that you would be unable to stop them in such an unfortunate situation. With all of these requirements to consider, would you not prefer to choose this hero yourself?
I see. Your kindness and wisdom humbles me, your Imperial Majesty.
Choose your favorite Pokémon.
Frozen heroic spirits, Interesting. I see you have yet another impressive card up your sleeve.
Mount Lee is the jewel of our empire. It is the mausoleum where the brave warriors who once fought by our side now sleep in peace.
True, it's always tricky figuring out what to do with the brutes who used to establish a new regime. Short-sighted, short-tempered rulers tend to go the whole "you have outlived your usefulness" route and just off their servants. But not you, your Imperial Majesty. How clever of you to literally keep them on ice so they could be useful to you again.
These warriors deserve to be praised for all eternity for their help in establishing peace. That said, we cannot bestow all of them with the same immortality we possess. While there is little that can be done to cushion the shock they experience when they are awakened and see how much has changed, fighting on new battlefields has become a common enough occurrence for them that they are now accustomed to it. What do you think? Do you not agree it is a much cleaner system than your heroic spirits?
Oh yes, I can't wait to see what happens next. I've always loved the word freeze.
Freeze. Nobody move. There's blood on the floor. Let us continue with Section 4. Demonic Beast of a Strange Land. You want to know if there's a place around here known for its cold? Yes, both types of monsters that have been attacking recently hail from frigid climates. It stands to reason, then, that they have fashioned a nest somewhere nearby that is suitably cold. Can you think of any such place?
I can't really think of much that's near here.
Maybe he means a place beyond the village border fence. Well, it's hard to say since nobody's ever gone there. Hold on. None of you have ever been outside your village. Not even once.
Well, no. I mean, it's prohibited for one thing.
Yeah, most glorious and majestic Heavenly Emperor decreed that we're not supposed to change residences without permission.
Come to think of it, there was that time when around 10 people wandered in after the village flooded. But even then, most glorious and majestic heavenly emperor decides where refugees like that will go, so they never want for anything.
We thought you guys were refugees at first, too.
Then, this is not a village, but a cage! Curse these oppressors! I'm so mad I could dance!
But really, why would you even want to leave the village?
Yeah, we have everything we need right here. Why would you just wander off to someplace we don't even know? Are you truly okay with that?
Well, yeah. I know I've never even thought about going outside the village before.
I suppose this is the inevitable result of living in a single place where all of one's needs are met.
Hey, mister? Have you got a minute? What is it? Well, would you mind if we talked over there?
So what's this all about?
Okay, so don't tell the grown-ups about this. But I might know about a cold place nearby. You do? I know it's wrong to break the rules, but I can't help it. I want to know what it's like outside of the village. So sometimes I sneak out to go exploring when everyone else is busy working the fields. I know just how you feel. There's just something enchanting about the outside world. Really? So do you like exploring too, mister?
Yup, totes.
I knew you would say that, senpai. You always enjoy meeting new people after all. I see. I guess you and me are a lot alike then. So what can you tell us about this cold place? Well, I haven't been there in a long time, and I only went once, but I remember there was a dark, chilly spot in the forest not too far from here. I remember it being really creepy. If I were a monster, I'm sure that's where I would live.
Ho ho! So you found a lead on the Krachat nest, have you? That should be very useful. Well done! This puts Koyanskaya squarely in our sights. I've got you by the tail now, you little minx!
I agree we should take care of this nest sooner rather than later, but what about Akuta? I'm pretty sure she's keeping careful watch of us and just waiting for another chance to attack.
Wasting time in a deadlock with her will not help us. For the time being, we need to focus on any possible lead to bring us within reach of Koyanskaya. If we leave after dark from the opposite side of the village where Akuta attacked, we should be able to sneak out. Someone will need to stay behind to protect the shadow border while we're gone, just in case. Even so, it is worth the risk of dividing our forces to investigate this possible demonic beast nest.
Well, then all we gotta figure out is who stays and who goes. You should be part of the expedition team, Holmes. No point in a detective holding down the fort, right?
Setting aside for a moment that armchair detectives are, to use the modern parlance, very much a thing, I am forced to concur that this investigation must be conducted on site. Very well then, I will go and investigate this nest. Fortunately, my wounds have completely healed now. Mr. Gouda, I would like you to lead this expedition. Left to my own devices, it is entirely plausible that I may become so engrossed in solving this mystery that I take another tumble over a waterfall.
I'll come along too, senpai. Please, say you'll do it. In that case, why don't you choose the last expedition member, Gouda? We've sure got no shortage of options. Who do you want to bring?
Who should we bring? Obviously, for an expedition like this, come with us, Spartacus. Very well. I am used to fighting fearsome beasts thanks to my time in the Colosseum. Leave it to me.
In that case, I'd like to come along too. I think you'll need someone a bit more able to finesse matters than a berserker. Then Mordred and I will hold the fort. If you want, Nezha and me could go squish anyone who says we couldn't take on that cryptor chick while you're out demonic beast hunting. Just focus on keeping the shadow borders safe, okay? Please? Yeah, I was just kidding. Freaking fun police over here. Wow! Riding on your shoulders almost feels like flying, Spartacus!
Even familiar scenery can seem completely different when viewed from a new perspective. That small change can help you see things you've never noticed. Sometimes you see beauty and goodness you overlooked. Others, you see evil and cruelty you cannot ignore. It is all part of growing up.
That's a lot of words. I think what Spartacus is trying to say is that you're right to want to see the world outside of your village. I am?
You are my little rebel.
I wish I was as tall as you, Spartacus.
Ha 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 ha! That will come with training. I wasn't much bigger than you when I was your age, you know.
Really? Then I can actually be like you someday, Spartacus.
Of course you can. Anyone could be like me. Life is rebellion against adversity.
I was a little worried about having a child lead the way, but Spartacus is actually pretty good with him. Who'd have thought? He is, yes. And since he's carrying the boy on his shoulders, we're making good time. That said, we can't go too quickly, or Gouda will have trouble keeping up. Don't push yourself too hard, alright? If you get tired, I'll give you a piggyback.
I'll do my best.
I can see more farmland up ahead. Is this a neighboring village? We could save time if we go through it, but I'll get in trouble if someone notices. Maybe we should go around. Hey, do you smell that? Yes, there's a definite scent of blood on the wind.
Yes. I suppose that would make sense. If the monster nest is in fact where the boy is taking us, then we are moving along the same path the monsters themselves did. Any village along the way would surely be subject to these beast depredations.
Boy, go find a safe place to hide and stay there until we get back. We won't be long.
Okay, be careful, alright? This is awful. What a gruesome sight. From the look of things, I don't think there were any survivors.
Be careful. I can still smell the foul stench of those man-eating beasts.
Yes, they're still close by. They will no doubt have noticed our scent as well.
And there they are. There's a lot of them, too.
Just as well. If we do not take care of them now, they will go on to hunt for prey in other villages.
Let's do it. Your orders, please, Master. Hostiles eliminated. The battle is over. Now these people can rest in peace. I'd like to think they can, at least.
What is it, Sir Detective? Have you noticed something?
Master Gouda, how did this latest battle feel to you? I thought I saw some weird tattoos on those Krachat.
Yes, those markings were so odd that I can't form a clear picture of them in my mind, but I did see them.
Pay those no mind, their behavior is what concerns me. In particular, the fact that they were clearly trained for combat. And not combat with other animals, but with humans. Their loss of strength is almost certainly due to the change in environment. For creatures accustomed to cold, even this weather must seem oppressively hot. Still, they were working as a team, not like a pack of wild animals either, but a trained unit.
Then someone had to have gone to the trouble to train them.
It's early yet to be certain, but yes, it does seem likely.
Do you think Koyanskaya is behind this?
If she is, that would raise its own questions. Namely, when did she have time to do so?
The answers will surely become apparent in time. Fortunately, they left footprints we can follow.
Good point. At least we know we're going in the right direction.
I will go get the boy. Meet us outside of the village. No one so young should have to see something like this.
I didn't know Spartacus was so kind. He might not look like it, but his purpose was always to protect the weak. Once he believes someone needs protecting, he'll do anything to keep them safe. Of course, that often ends in him sacrificing anyone and everyone to do so. I guess that's a berserker for you. They're nothing if not committed.
Alright, let's continue with Section 4, arrow number 2. The Lancelot train don't stop. Asa!
It's just up ahead. There's this huge hole in the ground you can use to get inside.
I see, so they have taken up residence in a cave.
It's really cold and dark inside. I got scared, so I didn't get very far in before I turned back. It seemed like it was really deep, though, because it was echoing like crazy. That does sound like it would work as a good home for monsters who prefer the cold. Forget sounds like. We're obviously in the right place.
I see. We are surrounded. How exciting!
I'm so sorry. I should have been more alert.
While you were an absolutely superlative navigator before returning to the front lines, Miss Kyrielite, I cannot blame Mr. Gouda for relaxing his guard now that you are back at his side once more.
Aren't you guys scared? Oh, don't worry. This journey would have ended ages ago if everyone here couldn't crack a joke in the face of mortal peril.
Ha! Too easy.
This is so strange. I thought the Krachatan giants would be living in different places.
Indeed, Krachant destroyed that village, but we followed their tracks only to find giants. Now I wonder, what will we find in that cave?
There's only one way to find out. Just standing here thinking won't get you any answers, Sir Detective.
What about the boy? Don't you think it's too dangerous to bring him in there with us?
Be that as it may, we cannot let him return on his own either. There's no telling how many demonic beasts could be lurking nearby.
Then we need someone to stay here and guard him. No, you can't do that. You all need to stick together if you're gonna fight these monsters. Take me with you. I'm sure I'll be safe as long as I stay close to Gouda. I guess that makes sense, yeah.
I'm proud of you, boy. You have spirit, embracing adversity like this. You have faced the fears oppressing you and rebelled against them. Come with us. I shall be your shield and guide, and sing a song of triumph in your honor.
Indeed, we are not called heroic spirits for nothing. I promise we will not let your bravery go to waste. Into the icy cave. Alright, this is going to be a 3-wave set of enemies. Minot. Over the limit. Okay, in that case, we'll just do that. Easy peasy. Ease peas. Well, this answers one question. Take a look. Over here we have giant tracks, and over there we have Krachat dung.
Does that mean they've been living here together?
Much as I would like to laugh the notion off, we have seen ample evidence of their cohabitation. And these demonic beasts have been quite thoroughly altered. So much so that they have begun sharing their territory with altogether different species.
So, someone's been going around domesticating the same beast that led to their Lostbelts getting pruned away. Pretty horrible hobby.
And of course, there is a yet more significant question. To what end?
Maybe they don't have an end in mind. You said this Koyanskaya went around the other Lostbelts tormenting innocent people for kicks, right? Maybe releasing man-eating beasts into peaceful agricultural villages with no defenses is just more of that. Uh-oh, I think they spotted us. Prepare for combat. Damn, it's not easy fighting so many of them at once. And they just keep coming.
Well, our initial goal was to exterminate the Krachats, so this was more or less inevitable.
Take care of the boys, Spartacus.
No problem.
Alright, wonderful, large amount of dialogue there. Yeah, if you like your purple-haired girls, Double Scotty Parvati is a good setup.
They're retreating. That can't be right. There must be more to this.
I agree. In fact, their whole system and style of combat was odd. Yes, this goes well beyond sharing territory. They're even fighting as a team.
We can now be certain beyond any doubt that someone is controlling them.
Then, do you think we'll find Koyanskaya further inside this cave?
I do not imagine we will be quite so fortunate, but we should go to meet whoever called them off.
Once we've taken them out, that should stop these monsters from attacking other villages.
Do you mind if we continue onward, little rebel?
Oh, okay. You'll keep me safe, right, Spartacus?
Of course I will. As long as you are prepared to face your fears, nothing can stop me.
Spartacus, part-time babysitter. There's no one else I want to take here, right? No, not really. Alright, let's go.
The Orthonax's sensors are picking up an impossible amount of magical energy up ahead.
Don't tell me it's one of those Javeltrons.
No, it's far stronger. And unless my instruments are completely broken, there are two of them. Does that mean we finally found the boss? I'm not sure. Their spirit origin patterns tell me they must be demonic beasts. What's more, they're almost identical to the data for the Javeltrons and fire giants we fought before. But the sheer amount of magical energy they possess is insane. And on top of that, the reading is still going up.
Hold it. Do you hear that?
What an awful sound.
You think those monsters we fought earlier came here to feed?
Just so I am certain I understand, Miss Kyrielite, you said the orthodoxes and sensors picked up two signals.
Yes, that's right.
If there are only two, then where did all the other demonic beasts go?
Ugh, it reeks in here. I can't believe these things.
Indeed. They're eating their own kind.
The Javeltron is eating the Krachat, and the Muspel is eating the other giants.
There is ample precedent for cannibalism in the natural world, but we certainly never saw this happening in either Russia or Scandinavia. Furthermore, if this is the source of the increased magical energy you noticed, then these are no ordinary predators. To gain the strength of those they consume this quickly, they would have to be soul eaters.
Then they had the ones we were fighting retreat so that...
Yes, most likely it was to make these two more powerful for the final battle. Though it remains unclear whether these two gave the order to retreat themselves or if those who retreated did so of their own accord.
Looks like they're done with their meal, and they're looking at us like we're dessert.
Well, they're looking the right way, 'cause Jin-Kei is a snack. Wink. This bloodlust reminds me of the demonic beast we fought in Uruk.
I thought so too, Master. These demonic beasts must really hate humans. I'm not sure about the significance of that, but we can worry about it later. Right now, it's time to get rid of these demonic beasts once and for all. Your orders, please, Master. Both hostiles are down. There are no other threats here. I guess that's that then.
I'm afraid not, given that we are still no closer to finding Koyanskaya. I believed it was possible that she may be the one training these demonic beasts, but the evidence is, as yet, inconclusive.
I never thought I would see demonic beasts cooperating like this.
Yes, I was so sure we would find Koyanskaya here controlling them.
But she is the one who brought these creatures here, right? I believe that is a safe assumption given the lack of alternate suspects, but we still don't know why she set them free after doing so.
Huh? What do you mean?
Take a look at these piles of bones, Miss Kitty-A-Light. These beasts have been devouring their kin since well before today. They have been sending the runts of the litter, so to speak, out to hunt, then stealing their magical energy for themselves. As ecologies go, it resembles the dead apostles. No ordinary species would depend on such a twisted survival strategy. These beasts had no other choice. They desperately needed to find a way to survive after being completely cut off from their proper habitat.
I don't remember the Jotnar or the Krachat being able to directly convert their prey into magical energy before.
They may have been forced to learn that ability to cope with the massive change in environment, or perhaps Koyanskaya gave it as another form of enhancement. If that is so, then the larger question remains, why would she go to all that trouble just to have them fend for themselves now?
What a strange woman. I honestly have no idea what she could be thinking.
I was hoping to find evidence of her motives, but unfortunately the trail has gone cold once again. I can only surmise that her own reasons for traveling between Lostbelts, or that she has her own reasons for traveling between Lostbelts, a truly formidable foe.
Are you alright, boy?
Yeah, I'm fine. I was just over here watching anyway. You guys are really strong. I was so scared I couldn't even speak. I'm sorry I wasn't more helpful.
Standing your ground and watching over others is a show of your strength and bravery on its own, boy. You have nothing to be ashamed of.
Thanks. Jinkei, what are you doing? Well, you guys said these things could be brewed into decent booze, right? I'm not usually one for cutting up monster corpses, but if there's booze to be found, is this it?
I see, they're secretory glands. Yes, as long as you preserve them properly, I imagine Da Vinci could make whatever is within drinkable. We certainly did plenty of toxin extraction in Russia after all. I must say, though, between you and that servant who drinks everything in sight, I confess I struggle to understand. How can you still be hungry after seeing that?
It does not matter what it used to look like, Sir Detective. There are few things sweeter to a warrior than a victory toast.
This way we'll also have a nice souvenir to bring back to the village. Of course, neither Senpai nor I are of drinking age, but that aside.
Come on, let's go back. What do you mean not of drinking age? You don't even know what the drinking age is in this Lostbelt. The White Cavalry Heroine, the best in the land. Big talky section.
Amidst the flowers, a jug of wine, I pour alone, lacking companionship. So raising the cup, I invite the moon, then turn to my shadow, which makes 3 of us.
Wow, lady, you've got a beautiful voice.
What does that mean? Well, it means if you're ever drinking by yourself among flowers, you can still have some companionship if you toast to the moon in your shadow. You know how when you're out taking a walk at night and you look up, see the moon, and find yourself craving a drink? Don't you think it makes the alcohol all the sweeter? I've never had alcohol before, but I do like the moon. It's pretty.
I know what you mean. It's hard to put into words, but there's just something mysterious about it.
So what, you always go drink in the flower fields like that whenever the moon's out?
Not me, silly. It was a man named Li Bai. Not to say I don't follow his lead now and then.
Huh? Wait, you said this Li Bai guy was doing his moon-gazing alone, right? So how'd you hear what he said? Were you spying on him or something?
No, of course he was just alone. I just learned how he drank and how he felt in that moonlit flower field later on, through his poem.
Oh, so this Li Bai guy told you about it later then?
No, I had never met him. I read his poem well after he first wrote it down, and many others had copied it.
Wrote down?
Yes, writing, you know. It uses symbols to convey language. It lets you record your own thoughts, ideas, and experiences for others to read, even if they live long after you have died. That sounds awesome! I want to try that! That's great! There are a ton of characters, but it's not so bad if you just learn a few at a time.
Don't let her lie to you. Chinese is a lot of characters to learn.
I know. Why don't we start with something simple, like the ones for father and mother? Father, mother, what's that? I'm sorry, does he not have parents?
Parents? What are those?
I think she probably means whose womb he was born from.
I can figure out when I was born by counting on my fingers backwards, but I don't know who might have been pregnant the year before.
Yeah, how the hell are we supposed to remember something like that?
Then, who raises the children?
Well, we all do. When the kids have questions, whoever's free teaches them to till the fields. How lucky we are to have the Heavenly Emperor watching over us. Oh, and someone teaches them how babies are made when they're old enough.
I see. So that is how things work here. Well, there are characters for everything, including things you see every day. So why don't we start with the ones for light and earth? Okay!
Oh, how tragic. This world's people have had their minds shackled and are forced to live as slaves under the yoke of illiteracy. This is oppression. It is information warfare of a wholly different kind. I will do whatever I must to throw off these chains. It must be nice being a servant and never having to worry about anything. Never mind that excessively empathizing with these people tightens the noose around our own necks. This is a lost belt. We need to defeat its cryptor, chop down its tree of emptiness, and cut off its future by sending it back to the pruning theoretical phenomenon. If all this will only leave you feeling guilty when it comes time for that, then you're better off not showing these people any kindness at all. Now, if you don't care about any of that and simply enjoy meeting new people, then knock yourself out. But I'm not so simple-minded. I'm well aware there's only so much stress I can take. You are wrong, oppressor who has never known any oppression. What was that? Vanquishing an opponent after you have helped to keep them weak is only another form of oppression. People deserve freedom.
Spartacus?
It is only when they have fangs with which to fight and hope for the future that competition may begin. I am, of course, Gouda's servant. As such, I will do everything I can to fight for proper human history. That will never change. But, as a man who honors people's pride, I must also say this. We cannot just assume proper human history is the only one that deserves to survive. Have you lost your mind, man? No, wait, you're a berserker. This must be another one of your madness enhancements speaking.
Easy there, don't let him get to ya. He's just all fired up after seeing how cowardly all these people are. He might be talking more than usual, but he's still just saying the same shit he always does. Berserkers. Can't understand him, can't change him.
Humans must ever move forward in search of a better future. Master Gouda, you have yet to become an oppressor. Pay close attention to this world and how its people live their lives. You must see for yourself whether it is they or we who are fit to inherit humanity's future. Just as we now fight against our destruction, so too should they have fangs and claws of their own, with which to rage against destiny's oppression. For justice can only be attained when two opposing rebellions clash.
So you think we should step aside for them?
The coming battle will determine that. Once it has, that is when I will take up my sword in rebellion. But if it happens that true human dignity is to be found here in this Lostbelt, then I shall bend my knee in service to China. Should that come to pass, the souls of those here must not still be bound by the chains of oppression. If they are to inherit the hopes and dreams of our proper human history, we must teach them about our poetry and our feelings. So please, do not admonish Jinkei for her actions.
While I cannot quite agree with everything Spartacus has said here, there is certainly no harm in being on good terms with the locals. I cannot imagine Miss Jinkei could merely stand idly by either. Seeing these people toil away in illiteracy under Qin Shi Huang's rule cannot have sat well with her. Why not let her help them if she so wishes? Yeah, she seems a lot happier that way too.
Oh! Fool! Madness enhancement or not, it seems you are still a heroic spirit and not shy about sharing your opinions either. You know, I once looked up to the indomitable gladiator Spartacus myself back when I was a lad. But never mind that. I, can't help but notice it's been 2 days since we've got here, and we're no closer to finding an antidote, but we've still got time, right? Right.
Hell yeah, time for the bop.
As requested, Your Imperial Majesty, I have determined who I think to be our best 2 warriors and brought them back from Mount Li.
So I see. Well done, Captain.
The first is Qin Lang Yu, the fearsome general who hails from Chongqing of Sichuan.
Ah, yes, the woman who commands the White Cavalry.
It is a great honor to serve as your spear and shield again, Your Imperial Majesty.
We still have such vivid recollections of how gallantly you performed in the Bojo Rebellion. We can think of none better than you to fight in defense of our empire.
You are too kind, Your Imperial Majesty. Now that I have been reawakened after such a long time sleeping, I could ask for nothing better than to help uphold your reign for another 10,000 years.
Excellent. We will hold you to that. Our empire faces an unprecedented threat. Use your mastery of the Ash Spear to disperse the clouds looming over our land. I shall, Your Imperial Majesty.
Next, I have brought you a strategist. I gave it a lot of thought and decided to go with your most loyal retainer, the one who has served you longer than anyone else.
Hello again, Your Imperial Majesty. It's me, Han Shin, your faithful right-hand man.
Ho ho! Our most distinguished Han Shin! We may have many heroes at our disposal at Mount Li, but few who know us before we obtained this holy vessel. You are a living witness to Qin's military history.
So I'm guessing you woke me up to fight another war. Where are we invading this time? The desert? The ocean? No, wait. Don't tell me. The moon?
No, our war of conquest has long since complete. Your leadership in the Arctic War was crucial to defeating the Aztec Republic. And our last great enemy, the Habsburg Empire, succumbed to economic sanctions. The world has long been at peace.
Oh. I mean, that's wonderful to hear, Your Imperial Majesty. Who doesn't love peace? Still, a peaceful world is like a tidy room. It's bound to get dust eventually.
Indeed. So I am counting on you to handle the cleanup once again.
By the way, how's science progressed since the last time I was awake? Any new weapons I should know about?
Ah, yes. With the exception of our royal guards and the supervisors defending the fields, we have retired most of our flesh and blood soldiers. The bulk of our army is now comprised of automated mechanical soldiers.
Mechanical soldiers? This is huge! We won't have to keep them fed or rested, and if one breaks, we can just repair it and send it back into the field. Oh, this changes everything! The possibilities are endless. New strategies, new tactics. Oh, it's enough to make my head spin. Oh.
Han Shin, while you are much too unusual to be called a genius, tactical or otherwise, we have nothing but respect for your talent. Make full use of your strategic cunning and return with another victory to your name.
Ah, thank you, Your Imperial Majesty. You are too kind. Oh my, his expressions are just as unique as the rumor suggested. No wonder Lord Han Shin is such a decorated general.
Wonderful. With these two, the Empire's defenses should be airtight.
Really?
Koya and Sky are just like, you woke 2 people up only? And I think this is a good stopping point for tonight. Thanks for watching.